Welcome, fellow Stardust. Are you ready for a scare? I see you've come back for more. If you're new here, buckle up. And thank you all for joining me today. My name is DeRay, aka Rainbow Fright, lover of all things dark, creepy, and weird. Today's film review will be on black comedy thriller, Stuck. This film was inspired by a true story, and I'll get more into that in the spoiler section of this video, which will start at this timestamp. I'll talk a little bit about it before then, but I won't give away too much. In this sad story of self-preservation, we have the beautiful and talented Mena Suvari playing Brandy Bosky, who after a night of partying hits a man with her car. The force of the impact was so great that he goes head first into the windshield, with his legs still sprawled out on the hood of the car. In a panic because she's under the influence of alcohol and ecstasy, Brandy takes off with him still stuck in her windshield. If you find yourself laughing at the image of a woman driving her car around with a man stuck in her windshield, it's okay. While this is a sad and serious accident that took place in real life, this film inadvertently became a black comedy. When they sat down to write the script, they didn't expect it to be a black comedy, but when they were on set, it was hard to avoid the humor that was seen in some of the setups and the dialogue. The story was written by the late and great Stuart Gordon, and this was actually the last film he directed before his death. The screenplay was written by John Strycek. Stuart Gordon got his start in experimental theater, which oftentimes was controversial. He went on to direct many films, and some of those include Re-Animator, Dolls, and Edmund. Because the actual accident took place in Fort Worth, Texas, Stuart was prepared to create an atmosphere that was hot, sticky, and dusty. But the producers wanted to take advantage of the tax breaks in Canada, so the film was set in Rhode Island. Stuart, thrown for a loop, was okay with this atmosphere change because the cold November also added this element of stark hopelessness. The whole film covers the course of about 15 hours. When we're introduced to Brandy, we see that she's a nursing assistant at a nursing home, and she likes what she does, and the people that she cares for like her. She's unofficially offered a promotion, which would mean that she wouldn't have to clean any more poopy sheets, but in order to be considered for this position, she would have to come in on a Saturday for the second time in a row. She of course agrees, but this doesn't stop her from having fun on a Friday night at the club. When she leaves the club, she turns down her drug dealer boyfriend's offer to drive her home, and instead just says that she'll meet him at her house. On her way home is when she hits the homeless man. Brandy is portraying Shantae Mallard, who in fact was a nursing assistant at a nursing home. The night of the accident, she had gone to a friend's house where she took ecstasy, then she went to a club, drank a bunch of alcohol, and then drove home from her friend's house. On her way home, she hit the homeless man while driving on a 6-lane highway. The writers wanted to keep the character of Shantae as true to her as possible, but they didn't do that with the homeless man, Gregory Biggs, who in the film they named Thomas Bardot, played by Stephen Ray. And this man's story throughout the film just gets more and more sad. Thomas, at the start of the film, is being evicted from a rundown apartment, and then later that day, he's given the runaround at the unemployment office. He's a victim of a system that allows people like him to fall between the cracks. 3 times in the film, he's told, "It's your choice," when in fact he really has no choices, especially in a world that overlooks people who need a leg up in life, who just need a little bit of assistance to get back on their feet. Y'all know what it is. We are living in a society where we are all involuntarily making the 1% more rich, and the rest of us are just players in the game. Brandy makes it all the way home with Thomas stuck in her windshield and puts him in her garage. Desperate to keep this accident a secret so that she can get this promotion, she leaves him in the garage and goes about her day. There are going to be parts that make you laugh while still being able to feel the pain and misery of this man. I love everything about this film. The actual accident took place in 2001, so the cinematography looks like it's from the 90s and is really grainy. Everyone's acting is on point and the music really fit the atmosphere. I was almost turned off by the sex scene because I thought that the lava lamp was good imagery to go along with the sex noises that we were hearing. But what happens while Brandy and her boyfriend are having sex justified it. I'm not too big on sex scenes just for the sake of having a sex scene. It really needs to push the story forward in some way. And in doing more research, Shantae had in fact had sex with her ex-boyfriend in between her checkups on the dying man. I was slightly bothered by some of the writing because sometimes it just didn't make sense, which happens a lot in movie making just to make some scenes work. For instance, when Brandy asks her boyfriend Rashid to help her with this accident, she doesn't tell him until the next day that the man is still alive. There were a couple of instances like this, but it wasn't enough to turn me completely off. I went into this knowing that this was a true story and that the writers did take some liberties. This one gets 4 rainbow skulls out of 5. Now let's get into the spoilers. Y'all, this woman, Shantae, is crazy. So in the film, Brandy does try to drop the man off at a hospital, but because people are coming, she's afraid to be seen and takes off. When she gets to her house, she loses it and becomes delusional. She's in a state of denial and puts all the blame on him and takes no responsibility for what she has done. She finally tells her no good cheating boyfriend and threatens him if he doesn't help her get rid of him. Realizing that this means that he would have to kill the man, he starts to panic. In his hesitation, Thomas is able to defend himself and jabs Rashid in the eye with a pen. Ugh, I love this part. He then continues to push the pin all the way in until he can't anymore. Brandy walks in on this chaos and attempts to finish the job herself, but she fails. She winds up stuck between her car and the garage wall, and Thomas now has the opportunity to enact revenge. Despite all that he had gone through with Brandy and what he had gone through the previous day, he still chooses to let her live, showing his true, kind, and loving nature. It's just too bad it didn't actually end this way. Shantae would check on Gregory Biggs periodically and each time hoped that he was dead. When he finally did die, Shantae called her ex-boyfriend to ask him to dispose of the body. Cleet and his cousin took part of the car and the body and took it to a park and set it on fire. Cleet stated that he didn't want to bury the body, but instead wanted to leave it for his family to find so that way they could bury him. The authorities found the body the next day, and they would have gotten away with it all had Shantae not felt the need to brag about it. 4 months later, at a party, she is overheard laughing and giggling about the incident while talking about it. Thankfully, a woman named Miranda Daniel overheard the conversation and went to the police with the information. The jury was shown footage of Shantae laughing and having a good time at the same club she was at the night of the incident. It didn't take them long to find her guilty, and she was sentenced to 60 years in prison, 50 years for the murder of Gregory Biggs and 10 years for tampering with evidence. She's eligible for parole in 2028 after serving 25 years. Y'all, watch this film. Well, thank you again for joining me today, fellow Stardust. I appreciate you being here with me. I'll be back on Saturday with another episode of True Crime and Nails, and I'll be showing you how I did these Aurora nails. And next week, my movie review will be a subscriber request. It will be on Psycho Gorman. If you'd like to be in the running for the monthly subscriber request drawings, all you have to do is subscribe and put your movie in the comment section. And if you enjoyed this video, please comment, like, and share. That way I can continue to make more content. And if you want to join the Rainbow Fright Freight Train, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell. That way you'll get notified every Thursday and Saturday when I upload more videos like this. All right, y'all. Peace.